people talk about awakening and ascension as if it's this thing that happens to us that saves us from ourselves, that saves us from being human, that saves us from our perceived, inherent flawedness as humans. It's so interesting to see people going on about awakening and ascension as if it means overcoming our human badness. Yeah, it's something like that. I these days I will read things that people say about these concepts, and it just feels so beside the point to even care, to worry about it, to bring these conversations into anything. Because really, we aren't broken. There is nothing wrong with us other than the fact that we are simply trying to be different than we are. I keep coming back to the image, to the thought of a fish who's trying so hard, so hard to learn to fly, or at the very least climb trees, and how bad this fish feels because it can't fly, because it can't climb trees, and how much it can't wait for the day that it's going to awaken, the day that it's going to ascend and be able to finally, oh my God, finally fly, finally climb those trees. When it's never about that. It's not about the fish learning to fly or learning to climb a tree. It's not meant to do that in that form. It's almost like then, let's say the fish realizes that and it begins to think that being a fish is such a bad thing because it can't fly and it can't climb trees, and it's so like this fish form is so limiting because it can't do that. But in the end, it's just an experience. That's all it is. That form, it has amazing capabilities. It survives underwater. The birds that fly, they can't do that. Squirrels that climb trees, they can't do that. It's just a different set of strengths, a different set of capabilities. It's a different experience. And I feel like this is what we're missing when we're dreaming of ascending, when we're dreaming of awakening, as if we'll be so much better when we can just stop having these horrible this horrible form, these horrible, awful, broken ways in which we are born. But that's not true. The only reason why we have anything that seems to be broken is because we're trying to be what we are not. We're trying so hard to fit into what we were conditioned to believe that we should be. And that's why it feels so hard. That's why we feel so broken, because we are simply not seeing the truth of who we are. We are just not I want to say accepting, but even that feels like it has baggage. It's about seeking to understand what our natural flow of energy within ourselves is and how we can embrace that. That's truly all it is about. We don't need to awaken to anything other than that which we already are, have always been. It's not about trying to become something that we're not, or one fine day we'll finally be saved from this horrible form in which we find ourselves and this horrible brokenness that causes so much pain in the world. It's not about any of that. All of the pain is only there because everybody thinks that they should be someone that they're not. I had somebody ask me recently when I was trying to figure out how I could learn to be better at marketing. That's not something I'm good at. And I forget exactly what we were talking about, but I was basically feeling as if I had to change in order to have the kind of business that I want to have. And in order to be able to be seen in the way that I want to be seen, that I had to be this different person, that I had to do all these different things, that I had to this or that or the other thing. And she asked me, she said, what if nothing has to change other than the way you see yourself? What if you can stay exactly where you are and do exactly what you're doing, and that could be okay? What if you weren't broken? She didn't say all of those words, but that was the last part. What if you weren't broken? That was what I felt she was saying to me, underlying her words. That was the feeling that I got. That was my response to it. Oh my God, what if I'm not broken? And I just need to learn how to simply lean in to who I am and just enjoy it rather than try to fix it or reject it. If I stopped rejecting it and trying to fix it, and I just leaned into it and learned how to enjoy being me. And truly, from the bottom of my heart, that is what I think awakening and ascension ultimately is. Learning to lean into who I am and enjoy being me, because there's nothing wrong with who I am. There's nothing wrong with who you are. Anybody at all. It's just our misconceptions and our conditioning that makes us think otherwise. And this one may end up being a short one, but before I go, I want to wrap this up in one thought. I spoke in the last entry about the evolution of consciousness and all of these experiences that our consciousness passes through, from the rocks, the plants, the bugs, the mammals, and to the humans and all of that. And then in humans, here, our consciousness is experiencing itself through these different personalities that we come into this life to inhabit, to experience. So we end up looking at ourselves as if we are lacking this or lacking that, or why am I not more like this, or why am I not more like that? Why am I so broken? why am I why do I have to be this way? Why can't I just be like that other person over there that seems like what they're doing, who they are, is so much better and more this or that or the other thing than me. But what if our experience is just consciousness experiencing itself through these different lives that are focused into these different aspects of personality, these different ways of looking and experiencing the world through these lenses that we have come into this life as we have incarnated into the body, into these bodies with these certain innate ways of being, with these certain tendencies. And this is just another aspect of the evolution of consciousness. It's just more refined as it goes, experiencing itself in these more and more specific ways through us, through our personalities. So when we're saying, oh, I shouldn't be how I am so broken, I should be that way, we are so not seeing the truth that we are perfect exactly as we are, because this is what we have come here to be like in order for our larger consciousness to simply experience more different facets of truth, of being. And so if the more that we awaken, quote unquote, to who we truly are, the more we are allowing all that is to experience itself more fully in all of our challenges and imperfections and all of these things that we look at and say, oh, I have to reject this. But it's just another experience that consciousness is having. That's all. We are just another experience that consciousness is having. And we are perfect in our imperfections because this is the experience that consciousness needs. I don't know if this is making too much sense. It just kind of, I don't know. It just feels so like, see, this is why we are not broken. This is why we are perfect, as imperfect as we are. It's just about the learning to be more in our truths, because that then allows the most full expression of consciousness through the lens of our personalities that consciousness needs to have. So I hope that wasn't too conceptual or too heady, but it just seems so like such a huge realization that I couldn't not add to this conversation about awakening and ascension, because we're not meant to be these perfect beings of light. We're just meant to be these human personalities having these experiences in these lifetimes. We're not meant to ascend. We're just meant to exist. That's why we're here. That's why we're in these bodies. We're just here to exist in these experiences exactly as we are, exactly as our deeper truths. So we are doing all of existence a disservice by rejecting who we are, by trying to cut out parts of ourselves that we deem unworthy. No, see, the way that we are is inherently worthy because we are that way. So the more that we embrace our wholeness, even those parts that we're saying, no, this is bad, I shouldn't be this way, that's broken. It's all as it should be. The more we can embrace that, the more we allow all of existence to be more whole. And maybe that is true awakening and ascension.